Your thoughts on the deal?
Yes, thanks, Alex. Always great to hear from you. I do want to thank the president for getting involved with Putin and Mohammed bin Salman and bringing a historic deal to bear of 9.7 million barrel day cut. The sad thing, it's probably not enough. I was surprised how weak the press releases came out of the G20, and in regard to U.S., Canada, and Brazil, it was a very weak 3.7 million barrels a day, no really cuts, 5 million from G20, no really cuts. And I think that could have been the finishing touch if they would have put that part of the deal together. I think it would have been a home run. As you see, all prices are up just a few pennies. Energy stocks are mixed today. And so we needed something more than 10 million barrels a day.
So then to that point, how much are you going to cut in relation to this deal, voluntarily or involuntarily, and will you cut extra?
Yes, we are testifying tomorrow at the Texas Railroad Commission. We're asking for a 20% cut. We'll probably phase it back like OPEC has, maybe go down to 10% the second month and third month. It's 1 month at a time, and so we're still asking the commission tomorrow, both Parsley and Pioneer, for a 20% cut for the first month. As you know, May and June are the worst months. It's a very high storage. There is all the cuts you're hearing about from EIA and U.S. and Canada. It's just going to take a long time to see those cuts. We need some immediate true cuts over the next 60 to 90 days. So we'll be asking for a 20% cut, phased down to about a 10%.
So last time we talked, you and Parsley had just kind of brought this to light, sort of asking all Texas players to cut 20%. And I asked you how everyone else felt about it, and you didn't seem totally optimistic. But now that you have the president behind these cuts and the entire global oil community, what is your read on what could happen?
Yes, it could go either way. We had about the same amount of pros versus cons. It was about 50-50. We do feel sorry also for the medium and small producers. They are going to be totally disadvantaged when storage does get hit. A lot of those companies will not be able to get their crude oil down to the Gulf Coast. Most of them are going to be shut in 100%. So it's a totally disadvantaged marketplace. So we're doing it because of waste. Today, you see the $23 for WTI. We're really getting $6 less. It's called the storage effect. So we're really getting $17 for Midland, and we're getting about $11 to $12 in the Delaware. So selling oil at that price is a waste, and that's what the commission started back in 1929. Preventing waste is why they made their historic decisions in 1932.
So, Scott, does that mean that does this deal as is prevent single-digit $6, $8, $9 oil prices?
I think it still could. I think the 9.7 million barrels is not going to be enough. It's sort of late, as you know. It's sad we had to go through the last 6 to 8 weeks since the meeting in Vienna. We lost probably a good $10 to $15, and we need to take the next step. The G20 really needs to come through on some true cuts, in my opinion.
So can you give us some insight, Scott, into how quickly you can turn on and off production? So let's play this out. Texas Railroad Commission tomorrow, you testify, there's an agreement, everyone cuts 20%. How soon does that come off the market?
We're asking to start May 1st. So as long as they make a decision, they have another tentative date on April 21st to make that decision. I would also tie it to help from, if they do make the decision, I think it's important to tie it to Brazil, tie it to Canada, asking for other G20 help. I'd hate to see just Texas do it by itself. We've already got the 9.7. I'd say tie it to the G20, more cuts from the G20. Let's get a bigger cut. Let's get the price of oil back up to we need $30 oil to really save the industry, not 23.
Scott, if you take a look at the curve, many analysts see short-term prices kind of out of luck. But if you go down the curve, this kind of cut could actually mean a lot more higher prices later, 2021, 2022. If you get $30, $40 oil, do you turn the production right back on?
No, at $30 oil, you will turn on most of your marginal wells. So there's about 900,000 barrels a day that the EIA has coming off in their analysis and their report, and that's coming off at $16 oil, most of it. But if you get back to 30, you turn most of that production on. A lot of it that's at small and medium producers that has those wells. It saves their lives. It saves those companies. It saves from employees. So that $30 oil is so much more important than 20 to 23. And so that's why it's important to continue these cuts and get a bigger cut, a true cut out of the G20.
What's really been so stark has been the relationship of President Trump to this whole deal. Have you talked to him? What's your relationship like? Can you give me some insight into how he sort of turned around from we like low oil prices to intervening quite materially into this deal?
No, I have not talked to him, but we have sent several messages. The industry has. We have at Pioneer and Parsley, both through Treasury, both through DOE, both through our senators, Cruz and Cornyn. So we sent several messages how important it is for him to get involved and get this industry. This probably had been nice to happen about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but the cut of 9.7 is not going to help the storage situation in the Gulf Coast and in Cushing. It's going to fill up by May 15th, and we're going to see very, very low prices, at least for the next 90 days.